We often hear of the saying, what would Jesus do? And we have to remember, among the things that Jesus would do is make a whip out of cords and whip people with it to drive them out of the temple. We hear in the first reading that there are things that are sweet to our taste and other things that turn our stomach sour when it comes to God's Word. What that means is that God's promises, God's Word, is sweet to our taste. But in trying to live it out, it's difficult. It can be a bit like having something sour in the stomach, meaning we have to have the guts that we need in order to follow God's Word. There are many difficulties in the spiritual life. There is our own blindness to our own ways. There is our own way that we rationalize so many things about our own behavior. We'll say, well, I haven't killed anybody, I'm not that bad. And yet, we would want to really ask the Lord to be the one to judge how bad or good we are, because let's face it, we're all biased. And so the scriptures that we have today, especially this passage from Luke's Gospel where Jesus is driving out those from the temple who were selling things and making his house a den of thieves instead of a house of prayer, we'd want to ask the Lord. And I say this is only for those who can stomach it. To ask the Lord to be the one to come into our house, that is the temple that is our body, our soul, and our spirit, and ask the Lord to drive out from us whatever is not proper. Now, we have to be willing to have three things. This is the how we would want to do this. We need to be honest, we need to be open, and we need to be willing. The honesty is we don't know ourselves. God knows ourselves more than we do. And so when we say, God, you are the one who knows the truth, that makes us open to say, you know what? I might not be living according to the way God might want me to be living. That's the openness part. Then the willingness, by the way, notice that HOW, that's the how, right? Honesty, openness, and willingness. Willingness means that we are willing to place ourselves into doubt, willing to put ourselves into the equation where we say, things must change and let it begin with me. The willingness to be able to say, God, I want to make sure that I'm on your page, not leading myself, but following you as my shepherd. Because he has promised not to leave us. He has promised to be our shepherd. These are the sweet things of his promise. The bitterness at times is the fact that it takes facing ourselves. It takes allowing the Spirit of God to penetrate deep within us and to show us things about ourselves that we might not like. But always with the hope that God is the one who is going to work within us what we need to be saints. He's the one who cleanses the temple. And he comes to us this day. And I invite not the faint of heart, but only those who can stomach it. I invite each and every single one of us to invite Jesus, as we receive him in the Eucharist, to be as zealous for our temple, that is our spirit, soul, and body, as he was for the physical temple in Jerusalem, to drive out from us anything that does not belong to him, so that we may be a pure temple, a house of prayer for the Lord.